Hello there, listeners. Here is Maya speaking from my home in Tlil, northern Israel. Today is August 26th, and this is one day after I record the last two episodes, in which I document the last big bomb attack that occurred upon Israel. Um, I wanted to give an update about what happened in this bomb attack. One house was destroyed in a nearby village. There was a family in the house, a mother and four children. The father was not there because he's fighting in the war in Gaza. Um, they were all miraculously survive in a millisecond. Like they managed to run to the shelter and close the door. And as I've been told, in the moment that they closed the door, the bomb hit the house, destroyed it completely. But they survived thanks to the fact that they had a shelter. Um, this is just, I guess, just a common thing in Israel for a family that, by the way, they evacuate. So it's like a family that was evacuate like 10 months ago from their home because bombs are falling there all the time, and now they're living in another place. And the father is away at the war in Gaza, risking his life every day. And the new house that you're living in is being like destroyed by a bomb. Just casual day in Israel, I guess, in this time. Um, they survive thanks to the fact that they had a shelter. Who didn't survive because they didn't had any shelter are hundreds of chickens that rockets hit also yesterday, hit their cages place. You know, they have those giant industry cages place for chicken. There is many of them in northern Israel, and in Israel generally, because Israel is the biggest consumer of chickens for food, for meat in the world. So I've been told. Um, and Yeah, that's I want to stay with that for a minute, because it's a really terrible, absurdic thing, that this is who get hurt in the bomb attack. In the end of the day, you know, there is this war between those humans and that humans, between that nation and that nation, between this religion and that religion, and the ones that being hurt in the end are the chickens. Hundreds of chickens being exploded. um, and I think it's terrible if you think about that I think chickens are the, you know, are the beings that are in the worst situation in Israel. You know, if I think if I could choose to be any being, any living being in Israel, I think the last thing I will choose is being a chicken in the industry. Uh, that's, I think, quite for sure. I can even say that I think if people will have the knowledge about what chickens are experiencing in the industry, um, I think I think that probably most people will put chicken as their last favor chose about which living being would they like to be, because chickens are experiencing terrible life in Israel. Terrible. It's like it's terribly reminding the Holocaust conditions. They've been kept in like extremely crowded cages, extremely crowded cages, when they cannot open their wings because it's so crowded. Um, so in order to keep themselves from killing each other, because there is so much stress included in living in such a crowded place. So in order to keep them from killing each other, they have those machines like it's like the machine that they used to kill the King Louis in the French Revolution. I don't know, guillotine, is this how it's called? So they have this machine, and they take the chickens when they are babies, and they cut their picks with it. Quite oftenly, also the tongue is being cut, and it's very painful. There is lots of nerve in the pig, and they do it to all the chickens because otherwise they will just kill each other because they're under so much stress. By the way, they do it with the female baby chickens because the male chicken is being what's the word, like smash, like the thing that a mixer do. Like if you put fruit in a mixer and you activate it, it's smashing the fruit, right? So they have also those big machines that smash the male baby chickens. um, and this is what the law say that they have to do, because before that they used to just throw them all in big garbage bags and tie that and throw it somewhere and let them choke while like stepping on each other to death. This like kind of things are being done with chickens. Their conditions are so bad that they sometimes they die with from breeding the steams from their shit that being piled under their cages. Really, really terrible, terrible situation, terrible um conditions, terrible thing that is happening in this land, and I think all around the world for years now. It's terrible if you think about the chickens, and it's terrible also generally to the whole, like, I think, energetical, spiritual atmosphere of the place. Um, and the solution, if you ask me, quite simple. Don't buy industry product. I recommend don't kill any animal or don't eat any animal meat. But if you don't go that radical, I don't find it radical, but society usually find it radical. So if you don't go that radical, so I will say don't buy any industrial animal products, because it's terrible. If you want to eat chickens, it's better to grow them yourself and slaughter them yourself, and do everything yourself, so that none like extreme terrible things rather than just killing the chickens was done for you. That's right, my recommend. Yeah, and the thing is, and like another terrible aspect of it is if they speaking about it in news. Let's say they're speaking, because it's happened several times already that like chicken cages were bombed in this war. So if they speak about it in news, they usually say like, "Oh, poor farmer, this poor farmer lost uh, his like his um, what's the word, um, like his property. The poor farmer lost his property. This is what's so sad about the chicken cages was bombed. This poor farmer lost his property. Now, how will he make money if not like abusing chickens? He will not have money now. This poor farmer, completely ignoring the suffering of these poor animals. Because if you acknowledge the suffering of those animals, so you have problem of keeping this industry. It's the same thing, I think, with there is like they bring like animals, like mostly cows and baby cows. They bring them for years now. They bring them from Australia in ships, and the conditions in this living shipment from Australia are so bad that they calculate how many baby cows will die on the way, to see that they still make money out of it. like if too many baby cows die on the way, so they have problem of making money out of it. But if just a certain amount of baby cows dying because the conditions are so bad in this journey in a ship from Australia to Israel, so um, so they still manage to make money of it, so it's okay. And now they say that because the Houthi, there is those crazy Yemen people that are attacking ship in the Red Sea. Maybe you heard about that. So because of them, the this living the ship with like baby cows need to go like to make like a larger round in order to get to Israel. It take them more time and it's more expensive, you see. So you need to fight those Yemen people that are shooting rockets at boats, because so in order that you can continue abusing the baby cows in those. It's completely ridiculous, I think, how. How certain suffering is being acknowledged and other suffering is being not acknowledged. Yeah, by the way, you can say the same thing about the Israeli like how the Israeli mindset is seeing the suffering in Gaza, because suffering in Israel is very, very terrible, but suffering in Gaza, well, they're like they're Gaza people, they're Arabs, they're Muslims, they're Hamas, they're like they're Amalek. Yeah, you can say all those stuff about Gaza people that make them like dehumanize. Amalek is like an ancient nation that is not existing anymore, that according to the Bible say that there is like a religion command to kill them all. Amalek, really. And in the beginning of the war, it was very common to name Gaza people Amalek. And this dehumanize is the tool that the Israeli society use to ignore the suffering in Gaza, or to make it something that is bearable, or to make it something that is good in the Israeli mindset. Um, yeah, and I think, as I see it, suffering create vibration in the spiritual, energetical field. Every suffering of every living being create vibration in the spiritual, energetical field, and we all experience it. It affects us all. Every suffering of every living being. This is how I see it. We are all connected, you see. I see life as a net of connections, of energetical, spiritual, biological, ecological connections. And when one being is in suffer, it's affect everyone. So yeah, my recommend, I guess, will be stop separating suffer to this being we're okay with it being suffer, and the other being we're not okay with it being suffer. It's we should generally look to reduce suffer as much as we can, including people from like other nations, including people that count as enemy, and including animals, even including chickens. Uh, yeah. So yeah, that was the effect of yesterday bomb attack. One house was destroyed. No humans were killed or hurt. Hundreds of chickens were terrored and bombed and crippled and exploded. Yeah, let's. I wish for the end of the war, for the end of those bombs, for the end of the suffering, um, and send it as a blessing for. Yeah, send it as a blessing now. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Um, bless us all. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful.